Welcome into sportsbookreview.com. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And this is the college football show, week 6, opening lines. And holy crap, was there a lot of stuff that happened in week 5. I mean, the last 2 weeks have been absurd and beautiful. The SEC is back. I feel good about things. You feel the same?
Oh, I don't feel great about them, but we root for different schools.
This is true. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just the idea of football being back is a great thing. Before we get into this week's stuff, do us a favor, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to stay with us all season long. It's going to be a longer than usual season. So make sure you are subscribed, that you jump in with us. It's going to be a good time. SBRpicks.com/NCAAF is the website for you. Got a great team of guys over at Sportsbook Review. Go read their stuff. Always have insightful information for you. You can go check it out, like I said, SBRpicks.com/NCAAF. Subscribe, like, share the show, all of that wonderful stuff. Chris, let's go ahead and talk about what happened in week 5 exactly. We'll just hit on the most interesting stuff before we jump into the opening lines here. First one, is the Big 12 dead?
Yes.
I think they're done for the playoffs.
Definitively.
Now, obviously, we've got Oklahoma State
is the only undefeated left.
And they don't have to be undefeated, right? Like, it not just them, but I'm saying the Big 12 doesn't have to be undefeated.
With
but
everybody coming back, I believe they have to be undefeated.
Maybe so. And here's the deal. Iowa State losing to Louisiana and then beating Oklahoma, not good as far as the transitive property goes, right? Texas losing to TCU, who also lost to Iowa State. I mean, all of this becomes a cluster.
Arkansas State beats Kansas State, who beats Oklahoma.
Yes, this is a problem, right?
So someone on Twitter was like, the top 2 teams in the Big 12 would be like 9th in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, I don't think that's exactly true.
No, that's not how the game works. But you
yes.
can't really play that game all the time. But it is fun to play when it's not your team that it happened to.
You are correct about that. Yes, Oklahoma and Texas both lose. Texas loses to TCU. Oklahoma loses to Iowa State. That is 2 straight losses for Oklahoma. First time since 1999. Bob Stoops' first season there.
All good things must come to an end.
You've got that correct. That defense, horrendous.
They're bad.
That's about as bad as I have seen.
They're bad.
Yeah.
We're doing this on Sunday. Just watched my Brownies beat up on the Cowboys, and we're in a group chat with some guys, and they were talking about, if you're Jerry Jones, call Lincoln Riley tomorrow? And I said, whoa, why?
Why would you do that?
This game is exactly what Lincoln Riley would do.
Yeah.
He's going to put up 38, and the other team's going to put up 48.
Yep. That's exactly right.
He's already got Lincoln Riley.
Topic number 2 here, Georgia versus Alabama in 2 weeks is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I think so.
Georgia disposed of Auburn like a rented mule.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. Like, they just wore them out in the first half and then just sat on them for another 2 quarters. Auburn could do literally nothing. Alabama, on the other side, gave up some big plays to Texas A&M, but their wide receivers are so fast.
Yep.
I cannot believe
Alabama's offense is really good, really dangerous.
they are clicking right now.
I will tell you, you give up big plays to 2 receivers. No one's going to run on you, but teams can throw on you. This Georgia team might have found a quarterback.
Oh,
it took them 3.5 quarters to find one against Arkansas, but he
Stetson Bennett.
Good. He looks good.
That guy's legit. Like, I don't know that JT Daniels takes that job.
I think JT Daniels transferred and is on the bench again,
and he's going to get beat out by a 4th stringer.
Yeah,
I mean, that's insane.
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's really crazy to think about. But Stetson Bennett looks good, man.
Listen, don't put it past Kirby to start him though. Just take the hot hand and bench him.
You might be right.
Hey, he's done dumber.
No, that's 100% right. That's 100% right. And again, opening line show. We've already had a game postponed this week.
Yeah,
and then it got switched. So Louisiana and App State, which was going to be fantastic.
That's the game everybody wants to see in that conference.
That was supposed to be on Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. It has already been postponed, and the Sun Belt said, okay, all good. Let's move Coastal Carolina to playing Louisiana on Saturday.
They were on a bye, right?
Yes.
They pull them off their bye.
They're going to move their bye later.
Yep.
And now ULL is playing, Louisiana,
yes,
whatever,
Louisiana.
is playing or hosting Coastal Carolina. this week, and all of a sudden, that's a matchup of undefeated teams.
Yes, I can't believe this. This is a game that shocked me this past weekend.
Yes, Coastal laid the wood
They
on Arkansas State. Yes. Did you see the stuff where the Coastal players sent Pat McAfee a video?
No, but
because
I remember he picked against them in his picks.
He said it's a lock, hammered down, all that kind of mess. And they sent him a video and were like, "We used to respect you, but you were wrong. Yeah. It's the shots, not the chants. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, and it's two guys with mullets. It was awesome. Fan-freaking-tastic. Yeah. So count me as an honorary fan of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. I'm all in on it. So I cannot wait to see that. Yeah, I don't know who to take in that game because they have looked really, really good. Louisiana, ever since they beat Iowa State,
they're winning, but they're not winning pretty.
By the slimmest of margins.
Yes.
The slimmest of margins.
They haven't covered a line yet.
No, isn't that weird? I mean, aside from that first week.
They won the first game as an upset outright.
As a favorite?
They haven't covered again since.
As a favorite, no good.
No.
As a favorite, no good. All right. Moving on to Thursday night. First game of the week. Tulane goes to Houston. Its rotation 303-304. Opened up as a 4.5-point line in favor of Houston.
First game of the year.
First game of the year for Houston.
And this is a team that has been chomping at the bit to get a ball game in.
Yes. Tulane looked fantastic against Southern Miss 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
But it's still the same Tulane team that lost to Navy, that, all these different things, right? Like
they played, excuse me. Sorry, that one snuck up on me. They played a great second half in their first game and played a miserable first half. Against Navy, they played an unbelievable first half and a miserable second half, cost them the game. Against
Southern Miss, they played in the first half.
Played pretty good in the first half, but
second half,
great second half. They haven't put a great game together yet.
They may need to.
I have been waiting for Dana Holgorsen to see him play football, to see him coach this Houston team all year.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think they are so fired up to play this game. Like, I immediately lean. So my numbers and whatnot thought that this would be closer to Houston minus 14.
Whoa,
way up there, right? Insane.
Okay, I did not think that.
Now, I don't buy that necessarily.
I thought this line was pretty close. I might have said Houston by a touchdown.
That's what I was thinking.
That would have been the most I could have think.
Like, in my head, this is a Houston touchdown win.
This is still a Houston team we haven't seen play.
Right.
And we know from game one of all these teams, some of them show up and they're ready. And some of them show up and they're just not.
Most of them show up and they're ready.
Most of them have. You're right. We've had a few show up and just look.
I mean, look at Air Force last week.
Well, yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's still a coin flip, though.
Oh, it's absolutely a coin flip.
It's still, there is a world in which this team is not ready to play football because they haven't been playing football.
Like, was Houston really ready like 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, that's right.
And now they've just kind of said, we ain't ever going to
get to play.
We're never
going to get here.
Da-da-da-da.
And now it's here, and they're like, all right, fine, let's go.
So we'll see. But that's the way that I viewed it. I looked at it, Houston by a touchdown.
I thought so too. 4.5 was a little bit short.
Total 56.5. Any ideas?
No opinion, because I don't know what Houston. If it's a Dana Holgorsen team that I trust,
we're going over.
We're going over.
Yeah,
he's going to find a way to put up some points.
You have got.
They're hitting
right.
30, and I think Tulane can score on almost anybody, within reason, obviously.
Well, yeah, of course.
They're not going to go to Tuscaloosa and put up 30, but
of course not. Of course not.
But that's what I'm saying.
Friday night game. Louisville heads to Georgia Tech as a 6.5-point favorite. Was the opening. That has come down. It's down to 6 at one spot, 5.5 at another spot. Bookmakers got it at 4.5 right now.
Get it 4.5.
That is bananas. I am so shocked at that. Total 64.5 seemed like a lot of points to me. But, I mean, maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Georgia Tech could turn the football over 87 times in this game, and then it just become a rout. Who knows? I think Louisville is considerably better than Georgia Tech.
I think Louisville is finding their own. We still have a picture in our head of them on national TV, College Game Day, getting the hell beat down by Miami. And also people have that picture in their head of Georgia Tech going to Florida State and winning outright. And I said after that, I bet against Georgia Tech the next week, and I won. This Georgia Tech team could be the team that we thought they were going to be, that we thought they were going to struggle to win a game.
Yeah.
I think they're still that team. They've played 2 other games since then, and they have not looked good.
No, they have not.
They look exactly like what I thought they would look like. I think Florida State's just that bad.
Yeah.
Which
It's
tells me
possible.
this is a short number.
Yeah, it's really,
the fact that it's
really
going
weird.
down scares me.
Yeah, no, I'm a little surprised by it.
It should be going up.
I agree with you.
You
I
think that
agree.
gets corrected, though? We're doing this Sunday evening.
Yeah, I think it probably gets corrected.
This is going to be over a touchdown.
Yeah, we're talking about like the actual opening number and then what it's gone to in just the few hours since. But yeah, possibly. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, markets tend to correct themselves, and that's why you want to grab early lines. By the way,
If you
because
think
you're betting against the book,
if
instead
you think
of
it's a
the market.
mistake in your favor, if you think it's going to get bigger and you like the other side, you sit and wait.
Yeah,
If
no,
you
that's
like
true.
Georgia Tech here, don't take this number. That'd be stupid.
No. Just wait till it goes back up because I would almost guarantee it goes back up.
I
Unless
think you're going to see 7.5 before it's over.
unless we have miscalculated and Louisville's got guys sitting out. Or
Well, now that's
like
something that these people who make these numbers have a lot more information about than we do.
Yes.
Way earlier than we do.
No, you are correct about
We'll
that.
get all that information maybe by Wednesday
Maybe.
after we do our pick show.
We possibly. I mean, we didn't even have it for the Air Force game last
I
week.
know we were totally
And
flying
we-
dark, and we didn't care. We took Air Force -1,
Yeah, I still felt good about that.
and I felt good about it.
And even after all the other stuff, I still felt good. Like
That's right.
You know. All right, let's
on.
move on to the noon slate of games for Saturday. And we'll kind of roll through these. Obviously, we're going to go more in depth on the Tuesday Pick'em show. But let's start off with Florida heading to College Station. 6-point favorites is the opening line there. It's rotation 333, 334. That has come down at some spots. It was 6, and now it's down to 5.5 at Pinnacle, Bet Online, etc. So, before the season, this looked like it would be about a field goal game.
Yes.
Now, after seeing Texas A&M's secondary and seeing what Florida has done to South Carolina and to Ole Miss, at 6, that may not be enough.
I think it's small.
I think it's a little small.
We're still giving too much credit for home field advantage.
Yes.
They think they're walking into College Station with 100,000 people.
And they may have 50% capacity.
They're not going to have close to enough to matter in this game.
Are they going to be fired up at all?
They will be fired up
after-
at all. No, I think they're going to still be fired up at all.
I mean, maybe 11 a.m. game.
If you're
like,
showing up, you're fired up.
yeah, it's on ESPN. It's when I say 11 a.m., that's God's time zone. That's where we are in the Central Time Zone. But it's 12 p.m. noon. This is the noon slate.
It's at the time zone this game's going to take place in.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. 11 a.m. in that time zone. I
this-
like Florida this year. I mean, they look
Well,
good, but
I've liked Florida.
I don't
haven't bet
know-
them a single time this
they
year. But
they
I
can't
like
stop
them
the
a
run.
lot.
They cannot stop the run at all.
Against 2 teams that don't run the ball well.
Yeah, that's the scary thing.
It's going to be interesting. I think Jimbo learned a lot from Saturday about his team and what they can do and what they can't do. At some point in time, you're going to have to stop Pittman.
Yes.
And Pittman.
Yeah, Pitts.
Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. And I don't know that person's on the roster.
You might be right
But
about
that guy might not be on the roster on any team.
Yeah, maybe not. You want to talk about dumpster fires?
Okay.
How about Red River?
Yeah, this is
Oklahoma, a 2-point favorite in this game. The total is 71.
not really the roaring river that you're thinking about.
No, it's not at all. Oklahoma and Texas this year came at maybe the worst possible time.
Has this game ever been played in history where both of them are coming off a loss? I don't know the answer.
I don't think so.
I would
Or
like to-
it's been a really long time.
I'd have to do some Googling.
Because this is, I mean, both fan bases are just like, what is happening?
I saw today many Texas people calling for Mr. Herman's job.
Oh, I could believe that, but they do that after every loss.
No, you can't do that after every loss.
So
Only Auburn
I'm
does
sure that they're pretty irritated because, I mean, TCU had to beg the Texas Board of Regents to let them into the Big 12, and they've gone 7-2 straight up against Texas ever since then.
Well, heaven forbid Texas get any more favorable treatment by the Big 12.
I know, right?
They get their own network. It's the reason people are fleeing the ship to begin with. It's because they don't have a real Big 12 network.
Yeah. I don't know anything about this game. I have no idea.
I know one thing. I do know something about this game. For certain, defense will not be played.
So the total is 71.
That's not enough points.
I don't think that's enough. I think it's going to go insanely over this
defense
point.
Will not be within 20 miles of this
Neither
stadium.
of these teams can tackle.
At all.
It's amazing to me.
And it's not scheme. You've got DCs that know what they're doing.
And
you have 4-star talent all over the field.
Yeah.
Not being able to tackle means you haven't been practicing tackling.
Yeah.
We learned that in the first Navy BYU game. If you don't practice it, it doesn't matter how big and strong and fast you are.
Yeah.
Your body is not made to, it's just not natural to grab another human being running at full speed and try to pull them down.
No, you're
You have
right.
to experience that and do it over and over and over again. These teams look bad at it.
Yeah, really bad. Like they are not being taught form tackling. They are not like it. It may not even be a practice thing. It may just be like a fundamentals thing. Like I don't know what is going on.
There's not a 3-star that's going to touch the field.
No, it's really insane.
It's not that they don't have talent.
Oh, it's the talent discrepancy between Oklahoma and Iowa State.
Yeah, it's not.
Iowa State had what 5 blue chippers?
Yeah,
like 4-star, 5-star
on the team.
And Oklahoma had 50.
Well, yeah, I was about to say I would bet Oklahoma has. I don't know, man.
They had 50.
Yeah,
50 4-stars or 5-stars on their roster. Iowa State had 5.
Yeah,
like this is ridiculous. Like what are we even doing here? So I don't know who's going to win this game. I got no idea. I lean Texas, but just because they've got the more experienced quarterback, they got a senior quarterback. I feel
it was your pick before the season started. Why change it now? Because you haven't seen anything to change it now.
No.
The only thing that I think hurts Texas is in the history of Oklahoma, have they ever lost 3 games straight? Like that'd be the only like rando stat that you got to find. They've never lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And so do we think that'll happen? I don't know, man.
I have no idea. Every time I look at this game, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just like, no clue.
I know this. 71 ain't enough.
No, that may be all you need to know. If you want to cash, that may be all you need to know. All right, moving on really quickly. NC State at Virginia. It's 313, 314 rotation number. Virginia opened as a 9.5-point favorite, and that one currently sits at 9.5. Same thing.
Yeah, it's still there.
This seemed like a little much to me, but I thought, all right, well, where's the overreaction? Is there an overreaction here? And Virginia played well against Clemson, but this is also a Clemson team that might have been looking ahead a little bit to Miami. When you hadn't had a real challenger in the ACC in quite a while, and it looks like you might get one in the Hurricanes, maybe you're not as ready for this game as you typically would be. But, I mean, Virginia's an incredibly well-coached team. The issue is I think that Virginia is just well-coached and not super talented, and they're not going to steamroll anybody.
I think the same thing. There is a world in which we could get North Carolina State team that's kind of hitting on all. When they're hitting, that offense can roll. They can put up points. I thought this was too big. I thought this was too much.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But we'll see. We will see. We're moving on. Next one up is South Carolina headed to Vanderbilt. This one opened at 10.5. Total on it is 48.5.
It's up to 12.5.
Yeah, it keeps going
across
up
the board.
I think anything less than 2 touchdowns
For Vandy?
should be no for South Carolina.
Oh.
I feel like South Carolina will cover 2 touchdowns. Like I feel good about South Carolina.
No, I do too. Vanderbilt catching less than 2 touchdowns against everybody not named Missouri needs to be the standard. 14 is the standard number. It's the mark of the line of demarcation that you can't go under.
Yeah.
You're just going to get destroyed. This Vanderbilt team's not good. Listen, my LSU Tigers are not a great team this year. We're just not. We beat the hell out of them.
Well, yeah, because you figure out, okay,
their offense is as bland and vanilla, and it ain't because they're hiding something for this game. That's what they're capable of doing. These are a bunch of smart kids that are not great at football.
If you don't give them points, you'll probably be all right.
Oh, yeah, if you don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
You don't turn the ball over. you're going to be fine. And South Carolina, I don't think is going to turn the ball over on them. This is too short of a number.
Yeah.
The standard bearer for Vanderbilt until they play Missouri has to be 14.
Yeah, I think I agree. Let's see. Next
you got one more noon game you missed.
2 more.
Oh, okay.
2 more. Virginia Tech at North Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that's 3:19 and 3:20. The Hokies heading into Chapel Hill. North Carolina, a 4.5-point favorite at opening, and that one is moving up.
5.5 everywhere and 6 at bookmakers.
I just don't understand. But maybe I'm wrong. A lot of hype. We talked about the same thing with Boston College last week. A lot of hype on Sam Howell and that bunch. Oh, well, they didn't show up against Boston College, so they're absolutely going to show up in this game. Okay. Are you sure about that?
This might be who they are.
Yeah.
They're a good team that's going to win close games.
They played 9 one-possession games last year.
Why do we think it's going to be any different?
And yes, this is a one-possession line.
Sure. This is a one-possession line. That is correct.
They went 3-6 straight up last year in one-possession games. Yep. They were not great at closing games out. Now, this year, who knows? You got a more experienced team. You know, your coaching staff has been there. Everybody knows what they are expected of, or what is expected of them.
Team. We've said this all along.
Yeah, North Carolina's a good team, but I also think Virginia Tech is a good team.
I think this is the best Fuente team Fuente's had.
I think so.
And they've dealt with COVID issues more than any team I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So far this year.
100%. And part of me wonders, is North Carolina getting a bump because of the home field stuff?
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Every one of these home teams, the line is skewed to the home field, and it's about 3 to 4 points. I think that's insane.
Yeah, I agree. Last noon game, 363 and 364 rotation numbers at Coastal Carolina at Louisiana.
I forgot this game got thrown in there. We talked about it beforehand.
Yep.
It's the noon game.
I am excited about
I didn't think we'd have a line on it this early.
I believe it's a noon game. It's on ESPN.
It is a noon game. You're right. Your rotation numbers are exactly right. And it has an opening line at 7.5, but it's not at any book available yet.
Not yet. But we will get there. So it's opening line of 7.5, and we'll see what happens from here. Right. Honestly, before the season, this looked like a 2-touchdown win for Louisiana.
Not close.
I don't know anymore because I think the Chanticleers are much better than we have given them credit for. Look,
Louisiana's not beating up on people the way I thought they would.
No, they don't look like a complete team because they had a lot of experience coming back. They had a lot of stuff coming back, and in the last game they were missing some guys due to COVID issues, whatever else. Right?
They have missed guys in almost every game due to COVID issues.
Yeah, and. I mean, you're going to have that, of course, but I don't think that's the issue here. I wonder, like, once you've gotten to a certain point and you become the hunted, I wonder what that changes, like what the mental mindset is.
So I'm going to ask a different question. I know we're trying to get through all these games, and I'm taking us on tangents for a minute, but what do you think all these super close games against teams they should be beating up is doing to Billy Napier's resume? Because we kind of assumed as soon as that Iowa State game hit zeros, this guy's getting a big boy Power 5 job next year.
I think he's still getting a big boy Power 5 job.
So I kind of do too. My question is do you feel as good about it? Because he's really struggling, and this team is talent-wise good enough. They should have been beating the hell out of some of these teams they played.
Well, I will say this. Georgia State, they came back and won that game in overtime. Georgia State beat the mess out of East Carolina yesterday.
Yeah, some of these teams are playing are better than I think they are.
Yeah,
they're way better than I'm giving them credit.
The Sun Belt's a pretty good conference.
Yeah, well, they've got a lot of games for us to get some data from to say that.
So that's where I think we're heading on this. As long as he keeps winning, it doesn't matter how many you win by. Like, just win.
I don't know about that.
Hey, look. They've already beat the Big 12 leaders.
I know how ADs and boosters think. And I don't think that's how it works.
Well, we shall see.
You know that's not how it works.
I know.
You know enough boosters to know that that ain't how it works.
No, they need to cover, and that's why everybody loves the lane train. You guys understand this. Let's move into the afternoon slate. Right quick, just remind you, if you have watched this far into the video, like the video. Click that little thumbs up down there. He looks like this. It's this little thumbs up thing. Click that, hit the subscribe button, share the show out, and jump in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on the opening lines. We would love to hear what you have to say. Make sure you join us on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the live pick show and our detailed previews, our deep dives and whatnot. And on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for the closing line show. Saturday afternoon looks kind of juicy. A little bit juicy.
A little bit juicy.
Yeah, this isn't like the greatest slate in the world, but
No.
we going to ride through them right quick. Tennessee and Georgia, 321, 322. Georgia opens a 14.5-point favorite here, and the total is only 43.5. And I think that might be all right. Like, these are two teams that, and two coaches, Jeremy Pruitt and Kirby Smart, both former Alabama defensive coordinators that were with Alabama at the time of slow it down and sit on them. Win the line of scrimmage, run the ball, and sit on them.
And that's kind of how they both played down today still.
Did 14 points seem like a lot to you?
No.
I don't think so either.
It didn't seem like enough.
It's kind of strange.
I thought this was 17-21. That's where I was thinking the number should have been. Is it weird that I'm getting pretty good about predicting numbers, but I can't predict the outcome of any of these damn games?
No, you might be right about that.
I know where the numbers should be, but I don't have a clue.
I wouldn't
pick.
I wasn't going to say a word to you about the Auburn Georgia thing.
It's all right.
But I knew that was not going to be the same Georgia team.
I went 4-4.
No, you did pretty good.
That's not good.
4-4 is 50%. It's better than 1-7.
People talking trash about they should just fade me. Well, then you'd have done the same thing I did. You just
gone 4-4.
You just lost all the vig. Morons.
If you faded me yesterday, you'd have gone 1-5. But,
yeah, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. Shut up.
So, Georgia, you think the line might be a little short?
I think it's short.
I don't know what to make of this one. I'm going to deep dive a little more on this.
Why do we think Tennessee is – okay. So this is the problem that I have with judging these schools.
I think when you have a total of 43.5.
I've watched 2 games from Tennessee. I've watched 2 games from Auburn. Okay. Why do I think Tennessee is better than Auburn?
I mean, that's a massive point.
Do you think this offense is better than Gus Malzahn, Bo Nix offense?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
That's not your Alabama hate.
No, it can't be. It's like I hate Tennessee as well, but
yeah,
I think with Jim Chaney, he came from Georgia. He understands the way that that Kirby Smart's defense runs.
In no world can I think Mortano is better than.
That's the issue. Is which version of the Tennessee quarterback?
These wide receivers at Tennessee aren't close to the talent of the wide receivers at Auburn.
Agreed, but also Tennessee has got a significantly better offensive line.
Yeah, and they're going to run the football way better. Yeah, okay.
Now you're
it's a different style. It's going to be a different style. It's styles make fights, and it's going to be a completely different kind of game.
Yes,
I'll give you that because Pruitt's going to have a tough-nosed, run the ball down the throat kind of game plan. That ain't close.
It's going to shorten the game.
That's not what Gus is going to do. Yeah, okay.
No, well, obviously we're going to talk about this more on the Tuesday show.
I'm diving way deep in the weeds on some of these. But I'm trying to figure these damn teams out. I'm trying to think of what.
It's tough.
What am I missing?
We're in week 6, and we've got some teams that with Houston hadn't even played yet.
I've got 2 games of footage on these teams.
It's insane. All right, speaking of games of footage and whatnot, let's dive into Iowa State hosting Texas Tech. This is a 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on ABC game. Tennessee, Georgia was the CBS game.
That's the CBS game. Yes,
so this whole Iowa State thing where they are favored by 13 over Texas Tech, I don't think Texas Tech is that bad.
I think Iowa
State was surprisingly good against Oklahoma, and they always do this, right? They always show up for the Oklahoma game. Massive emotional high. The first time they'd beaten Oklahoma at home since 1960, I believe I saw. All of these different things going in favor of Iowa State, and then they're favored by 13. The projected line was like 12 according to the analytics. This just seems like too many points.
Yeah, I think when we first started, we were talking about what lines were wrong. You threw this one out there to me. I thought, no, that's probably where I think it should be. No, this is another one of the situations where I think they're giving Iowa State too much credit for home field advantage. Hey, you picked Iowa State to be like your dark horse Big 12 winner.
They're looking all right now.
They're still undefeated in conference.
That's one of the few.
While getting to the playoffs is probably out of the question with the loss to Louisiana.
Probably.
They can still win this conference.
Yeah.
They're in the driver's seat, baby.
Now, you've got that right. But, hey, look at it this way. Louisiana, still undefeated, right?
Yes. One loss team to an undefeated football team.
Hey, hold on.
Let's sell it. Let's sell this thing right now.
Let's sell this thing for Louisiana to get into the playoff.
Oh, my God. No, you know that won't happen. You know that won't happen. They'll put the team that has one loss to that team in, but they'll leave the team that beat that team that's undefeated out, because that's how college football works. You're not big enough.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't belong.
Pretty much. Well, Iowa State doesn't really belong either, but
they're at least in a conference that we think belongs.
That's true.
That's the problem. True. Because their friends associate with us in the right circles.
Hey, Iowa State fans, I apologize for that. I should not have said that.
They're not big enough. They don't.
But history has shown us this, right? Like it's this whole playoff thing is for the Alabamas, LSU's, Clemson's, Ohio State's.
I have fought. Whatever. While my team is one of those teams, I have still fought against this system for too long.
Yeah. Over the years, I've completely flipped from 4 is too many to hey, we need 16.
We need to make this thing real.
I want to make it fun. Let's have fun with it. It's supposed to be fun. All right, moving on. We need to roll through some of these pretty quick. And this is the perfect slate right here to be able to just fly through. Arkansas at Auburn. Auburn, a 16-point favorite. Total is 53.5 here. It's a 4 p.m. Eastern time SEC Network game. This seemed a little short to me. I understand Arkansas got the big win at Starkville last week. That was an upset. Mississippi State gave them that game on a silver freaking platter over and over again. Arkansas still looked pretty bad. Auburn, as badly as they were beaten by Georgia, they should be able to beat Arkansas just as badly. Every year, Gus Malzahn beats the absolute crap out of Arkansas. That is a given every single season. I'll deep dive it a little bit for the Tuesday show. But I'm telling you, that line is 16. It has gone down in one spot. It's down to 15. And it's at 16.5 at some of these other spots.
It's so weird.
I am telling you, if this thing is under 20, I'm probably going to be taking Auburn.
Wow.
Malzahn, coming from Springdale High School in Arkansas, as badly as he was treated by Houston Nutt and that Arkansas administration, it doesn't matter who's there now.
That's right.
Like, he felt like he was ousted, like he was the bad guy, all that kind of stuff. When Mitch Mustaine and all those guys came in there, like, he's got a vendetta against Arkansas. And whenever he's got the opportunity, and you think Chad Morrison going to be fired up to go back to Arkansas and beat the absolute piss out of them?
I think Arkansas fans are going to – Chad Morris better have a lot of that Alabama State Trooper security.
Oh, absolutely.
You think they want to just destroy that man for the highway robbery he has?
I mean, you've literally got 2 Arkansas guys.
Now, they signed the contract. They signed the contract. That's my problem. You can't get mad. You're the one that gave him all that damn money.
Well, and
I could have told you that was a dumbass move.
Given the option, I think Chad Morris would love to still be at Arkansas trying to get that thing figured out. It's just he
doesn't deserve it.
But no, of course not. I don't know that he necessarily deserves Auburn either, but, you know.
Well, no, he doesn't do that.
Whatever. Either way, rolling through, again, we took another 2 minutes on that one. But I'm
sorry.
But no, it was on me that time. Pitt at Boston College. Pitt is a 3.5-point favorite. It's rotation 311, 312. This seemed like a few too many points at Boston College. Boston College, I think, looks all right.
It's up to 4.5 across the board.
Up to 4.5. Man. Maybe I missed
Nobody is respecting Boston College at all still. This is the only home team that the line is not in their favor.
Yeah, it's insane to me. I understand Jeff Hafley is in his first season as a head coach.
But he's done really well.
That Pitt offense, man, and last week, their defense was able to be figured out by NC State of all
I want to see this offense against that defense.
I don't know that I'm going to bet this game. But that just
I'm going to watch
it.
I'm going to watch a lot of it.
Yeah,
these are 2 teams that I'm super interested in.
Yes, now you're correct about that. Kansas State is headed to TCU. This game is on Fox in the afternoon slot, and TCU favored by 8.5 at opening.
It's at 10 and
it's at 10 at multiple spots. Now it's not on the board at some of these places. Yeah. And I'm kind of trying to figure out what's going on. Like, maybe we're getting some of the guys back for Kansas State, but we don't know who yet.
I don't know how Kansas State wheels off the last 2 wins that they just did, and then
they're a double-digit underdog
to TCU.
These are 2 coaches that would love to just run it every play.
Yep.
And get us out of there in 2.5 hours.
Oh, no, yeah.
Like,
make
no
your,
commercial
Make your dinner
breaks.
reservations. We're going to be there by 5. This thing kicks off at 4. 6:30.
Yep.
I'm
We'll be out.
Have my table ready. I'll be showered in there.
I mean, it's insane to me. It's on Fox. It's 4 p.m. Eastern time. The total of 54.5 also looked a little.
I thought that was high. Was high.
For these two coaches.
Because I know these coaches. They don't want to throw the football. They want to run it.
Yeah.
They want to slow it down. They want to get out.
They finally have somebody in conference that they could do that against.
Yeah.
And it works.
These games don't take 4.5 hours.
Yeah. The fact that this is up to 10 at multiple spots.
They're just trying to work less.
I guess so.
If you could do your job in 2.5 hours and Tom Herman's trying to do his in 5, well, what the hell is he wanting to work that long for?
Like, forget that.
Go
do
home.
2.5. Like, I want to go home.
That's right.
Eat a nice steak. All that good stuff. Alabama, a 24-point favorite at Ole Miss. The total, opened at 78.5. And neither one of us thinks that's enough, right?
So, I feel like an idiot. I haven't done well, but I'm 1-1 with Ole Miss. I'm 2-0 on the overs. I think I'm just going to keep taking the Rebels in the over.
I think that's a good idea.
I think Ole Miss can throw on this team.
Oh, absolutely. Remember, they're still breaking in a secondary.
Alabama, they won't punt.
No.
The punter can take the day off.
This will be more than likely a 62-38 kind of ball game.
I think I agree with that.
I mean, it's the LSU Ole Miss game from last year.
So here's what I said about Ole Miss before this line came out. I'm going to take Ole Miss, and I'm going to take the over. I don't care how big the over is. I didn't think it would hit 80. And I said, Ole Miss going to score 35 on this Bama team. Yep. I have watched two teams that I don't think are very good throw the football all over this Bama defense. Can't run on them, but Ole Miss ain't going to run it anyway. They're going to throw it, and they're going to throw it a lot. They're going to score 35. Bama's going to beat them, and Bama's going to beat the hell out of them. But to get over 35, you got to score a lot of points.
Yeah.
Which you're going to do. Is there any world in which Saban says, I can name my number, we are slowing this thing down?
Oh, 100%.
And he tells every running back, no one goes out of bounds. And if you get 7 yards, you fall.
Hey, if they jump up to a 21, 24-point lead, whatever, it's 31-7, at that point, then you're in trouble.
He's just tick, 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 tick,
yes,
tick, tick,
because
tick, tick, tick.
Alabama has not been able to run against Texas A&M, but that's a Mike Elko defense, not
That's
great.
a different defense, no.
Missouri, we're not able to run early. So I take that back. They were able to run early, and they were not able to run late, so they couldn't run that clock out late on them. So, however, I think maybe he doesn't take Najee Harris out. I think maybe he doesn't take out some of those offensive linemen in this game, and he just rolls the clock.
Just run the clock.
However, I could also see them getting way, way up in this game and then allowing Ole Miss to come back because they do put in guys. Because remember, Georgia is next week.
I don't know that they're going to get way, way up. I think for every 2 times you touch the ball, Lane and them are scoring.
Well, the only way that it doesn't happen is if Lane and them turn the football over. And Alabama's got some ball hawks. So
yeah, man, they haven't turned the ball over yet. They've won the turnover battle in both their games.
Ooh. So that's the only way that it.
Your projection was that in week 1 against Florida. Now Florida ended up beating the hell out of them. I don't think Florida had a single turnover in that game, and they took the ball away from Florida twice. I think they've won the turnover battle in both their games.
I'll have to do.
I have to look into that too because I've watched both those teams. I've watched both of Ole Miss's games every snap. That's
exciting games.
That's a fun team to watch. Well, because it's Big 12 football dropped right in the heart of the SEC.
You've got that right. You have got that right. All right, let's talk about the last afternoon slate game, and that would be Temple in their first appearance of the season.
I'm about to say our first game from Temple
playing at Navy, and it's on CBS Sports Network at 6 p.m. Eastern time. This opened as a pick'em. And now, what is it? Temple minus
2.5?
2.5?
Or 3.
Across
the board.
There it is. Yeah, minus 2.5, minus 3.
Everybody is jumping off this Navy ship as fast as they can jump off of it. And you know what? I think they're all right.
I mean, if you look at so obviously
Tulane was a gift.
Yes, Tulane was. I still have no idea how that happened. The other side of this is teams that are playing their first game against a team that's already put games on film, I mean, the number I was talking to you about last week was just absurd.
Which goes counter to everything you think logically.
Because
this team has played 3 games, 4 games. This team has played none.
But if you got no film on the other guy, then
it's hard to prepare for him.
So I don't know what to make of Temple. Like I'm not a huge fan of the Rod Carey hire. But
we all think that Temple is going to be a tough, hard-nosed football team, though, right? Because that's what they've always been.
Well, and then they've got the senior quarterback, Anthony Russo. They've got, like, good guys. I don't know about this one. Like, I'm wary.
Well, I'm not going to play it. I've steered clear of a lot of first-team games.
My first impression would be that Temple will cover this at least by the field goal.
Yeah, I would think so because I just have no respect for this Navy team at all. I mean, none.
But Navy is 1-0 in the AAC. So they may have gotten their brains beat in by BYU and by Air Force, but Temple is not exactly
either of
those two teams.
No, I 100% agree with that.
So, we'll see. We haven't – BYU is just beating the – I don't have them to talk about right now.
They're playing UT San Antonio, right?
Yeah, and UTSA is not bad.
It's 34. It ain't enough.
It ain't enough. And none of these are ever enough at this point. It's just absurd.
Can they make the playoff?
No. I wish.
Can we get them into the American?
You know what would have been a lot of fun? Bill Connolly from ESPN said, why don't we swap BYU and Kansas?
Oh, yeah.
And just toss BYU into the Big 12, and that way the Big 12 still has a shot at the playoff. Yeah. I think BYU would kill everybody in the Big 12 right now.
Everybody.
Like, this is
a lot of them.
I really, if not a top 5 team, I think this is a top 10 team. They have
they're 100% a top 10 team.
Overachieved every expectation you could possibly have, and now every time I look at them, I'm just like, none of this makes any sense.
I want them in the American because I think the American's better than the Big 12. I want to see them play UCF. I want to see them play Cincinnati. I want to see them play Houston. I want to see them play Memphis.
That would be a lot of fun.
I would like Army and BYU to join the American.
They do play Houston here in a few weeks.
Yes, they do.
Yep.
I would like Army and BYU to join the American.
That'd be a lot of fun. Be a lot of fun. Let's try and close out the show with the evening slate. Again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. We are doing the Tuesday live show, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here. Make sure you jump in the chat, jump in the comments, all that. Leave your opinions. Tell us what you like this week, what you don't like, what we should be hopping on, what we shouldn't. If you want to try and rag us again like you did last week, perfectly fine. We are here for it. We will rag you right back as soon as the games are done on Saturday night.
Gary to say it's the 5-1.
That was 5-1 last week. The week before that, I was 3-2-1. So I've been all right this year. I've been all right. But either way, if you guys want to jump in there and rag on us, you can. We don't take it personally. This is all a game. It's a good time. All right. Saturday evening slate. Florida State at Notre Dame opened at 21.5. Total is 54. 54? I mean, they expect Florida State to score like what? At most 2 touchdowns?
I don't know what they're expecting.
I got to tell you, this is 7 p.m. Eastern time on NBC. Rotation 3-5-3 and 3-5-4. At Notre Dame in the trenches is going to embarrass this team.
Yes.
Now, I do think that Florida State found themselves a quarterback with Jordan Travis last week against Jacksonville State. However, that was Jacksonville State, and this is Notre Dame.
Yes.
Notre Dame will have guys in the backfield every single play. Like, they don't even have to send pressure. That's how this gets complicated.
They can get there with
right?
3 or 4.
Yeah, this is going to be crazy. I keep waiting for the Florida State talent to show up. If this guy...
It's not on the roster, Gary.
There is talent at certain positions.
I don't think it is.
It is a disaster. Like right now, their minds are so messed up.
I think you've been miscoached, and I think you've been misevaluated.
Maybe so. I mean, I know that they've got talent on the team. I know they do. But they don't have it at the offensive line position.
Just because you got stars on your name.
No, you're right. We'll see. I don't feel good about this game for Florida State. I think Notre Dame, given the opportunity, because they have not played in a couple of weeks.
I knew it wouldn't be this big, but anything under 28 was a play.
I mean, that's so many points. So many points for this kind of game. They even have it in prime time, man.
That's because it's Notre Dame, though.
The game of the weekend, where I believe College Game Day will be, 317 and 318 rotation numbers. Miami and the Hurricanes headed to Death Valley. Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson a 14.5-point favorite at opening, and it's on it's on ABC, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It has jumped up to 15.5. People love Clemson in this spot.
Yes, sir.
Clemson did not play well against Virginia. Part of that might have been the fact that they are playing against Miami this week. We think.
Look
maybe.
ahead. Yep.
So, and if you're not focused against an incredibly disciplined team like Virginia with Bronco Mendenhall,
a team that won't beat themselves.
Yes, Miami had the week off last week, so they are geared up, ready to go. This could be a lot of fun. I think that I probably side with the fact that Clemson is probably going to boat race them. I think they can end up winning this game by 3 touchdowns if they want to. However, Miami has looked really good this year.
Really good.
In spots, right? So against Florida State, absolutely no question. Well, against UAB, took a little while to get it rolling, but that was the first game of the year.
Very first game of the year.
Against Louisville, success rate was not great, but they did bust like those explosive plays, right? So you had like 4 or 5 explosive plays that just completely shifted the game. And that Miami defense they gave up 28 points in the second half to Louisville.
But they were killing them.
Yeah, they were absolutely. It was garbage.
You're running a completely different defensive scheme at the end of the game.
Yeah,
when you're up by 20-something points.
I am.
At no point in time will they be up that big in this game, and even if they are, they're not changing their defensive philosophy.
What's your feeling here?
When I saw the number, if it was bigger than 14, I was liking Miami, which probably bodes well for you if you like Clemson. But yeah, I think this Miami team's a lot better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, same here.
I've been told for a decade Miami's back. This year's going to be different. This year's going to be different. And I kept saying, call me when it's different. Beating the hell out of Florida State does nothing for me. It's how they have beaten everybody else.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
And I'll tell you this. I know that Clemson gets to see. Here's the hardest thing about evaluating Clemson. Okay. Dabo wants to cry all the time. No one respects us. No one appreciates what we do. Oh, we never lose football games. No one gives a shit what you think, Dabo, because you don't play anybody. And because you don't play anybody, you moonwalk through games.
Yes.
You sleepwalk through some of these games. If I assumed that Clemson played their best in every game they played so far, I think Miami's going to win the game. But I know that's not true.
Yeah,
I know that Clemson moonwalked through half of some of these games.
Yeah. I mean, he's played basically everybody on the roster.
Yeah. And so it's impossible to evaluate them and come up with a true expectation of how good you are.
Yeah.
So you don't get to cry that you don't get the respect that the big SEC teams get or that Ohio State gets sometimes when you're the one that's moonwalking through games.
Yeah. And now, luckily, at least this year, you've got 2 games
You're going to have 2 games on the schedule. You've never had 2 before.
Yeah.
You're going to have 2 that you actually have to show up for.
It has been a long time. All right, let's move off of that one. Last 2 games that we will discuss. Mike Leach heads over to Mark Stoops' neck of the woods, Lexington, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. Kentucky is a 2.5-point favorite at opening, and that line has moved to Kentucky -3.
Across the board. This is home field advantage wrong.
And maybe I was going to say a bit of an overreaction.
Oh, it's overreaction completely. But it's also, I think, just because it's been consistently for home field advantage.
Yeah.
It's been consistently 2 to 3 points too big.
I mean, maybe so.
For every home team but BC.
This whole thing, Mississippi State should be probably a couple of points favorite in this game.
I would think so.
And last week, they should not have been an 18-point favorite over Arkansas. Obviously, now, a lot of weird stuff had to happen for Arkansas to win that ball game. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean that Arkansas is the better football team, but you only get one shot at these things, so it is what it is.
That's why we play the game.
Yeah, and it's why I told you that I would take Arkansas in that spot. Right. Not to win, but to cover 18 because it's just absurd. That wasn't what the line was before they beat LSU, and we don't really know what LSU is. So, so it's another overreaction to, they just lost to the worst team in the SEC, et cetera, et cetera.
That's not the worst team in the SEC anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think that those 2 teams were actually a little bit closer, and I think Kentucky and Mississippi State are pretty close.
Oh, they're pretty even.
But Kentucky being the home team, I don't think necessarily matters here because I think Mississippi State has the talent advantage. So I would lean Mississippi State getting it back on track this week.
100%. I would too. 100%.
But at the same time, Mark Stoops understands defense. He knows how to get in the kids' heads.
The tough thing is you're going into Kentucky 0-2.
Well, yeah, Kentucky's 0-2,
and so they're desperate for a win. They're going to have to fight, claw. You're going to get the best Kentucky you're going to get because they know they can't start 0-3.
I'm curious to see.
That's the worst of it.
I'm curious to see if Kentucky has any kind of an issue with the 3-3-5 defense that State tosses out there. Because it's not like Arkansas was going all up and down the field.
Well, no. Nobody has scored on that defense really well. I mean, we put up a lot of points, but
y'all put up 27.
We were way behind in that game constantly.
Yeah. So, LSU put up, 27 offensive points. And the other 20, was it 24? Either way, there was a pick six and whatever else, right? So, now the other side of this is KJ Costello tossing picks all over the place, man.
He wasn't that sloppy with the football.
Yeah, you're going to get that sometimes. You're going to get that. All right, last one. Let's talk about your Bayou Bengals here. And
it's a nightcap.
Yeah, it most certainly is. Missouri at LSU. It's 331 and 332 rotation numbers. LSU opened a 19-point favorite. Total is 54 here. Total seemed a little low, but then I started thinking about the fact that Missouri's
not going to score.
May not score.
What did I tell you before the season started?
Yeah, you were right.
All SEC conference schedule, Missouri might not score. Which game? All of them.
They may not score the whole season.
All of them.
No, you're right. You were right.
This team's bad.
LSU has jumped up to a 20.5-point favorite.
It ain't enough.
Probably not.
We're going to score 35 to 40 on this team. Maybe not 40. We're going to score in the 30s.
It might be 40.
I don't know. Our offense.
It could be an exact replica of what you guys did against Vanderbilt.
Gave up 7 somewhere.
Yep, 7-10.
Yeah,
and score 38 to 42.
30 to 40.
Yeah.
No, I don't think 54 is in play.
No,
LSU has to go off, and then we just have to sit the defense, and they have to somehow get.
It's got to be a 42 to 17.
Points. Yeah,
backdoor cover, also bust the over.
Yeah, some kind of weird thing, but
either way. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. Jump into the comments. Of course, leave your ideas, your opinions, your picks for the week. We want to hear what way you are leaning, all that wonderful stuff. Head over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. Do us that favor. Make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, that you've liked the video, and that you share it out with your buddies, all that good stuff. Is there anything else we need to cover?
That's it, brother.
Yeah, we hit on BYU, right? 34.
We just absurd. Just a lot of points.
BYU.
It ain't
Unbelievable.
enough.
It ain't enough. It ain't ever enough with BYU. All right, with that said, for sportsbookreview.com, I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you next time.